Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. As we approach another blessed month of Ramadan, we are wondering if we should be working out. Now, let me answer that question by telling you, yes, most certainly you should be working out in the month of Ramadan, simply because it's going to help you maintain the progress you've made with your health and fitness. And if done properly, it can actually increase your focus and increase your metabolism and keep you more energized for you to engage in acts of worship. Now, in the days leading up to this video, I gave you guys a chance to ask me questions on as to what exactly you want to know. And I've been able to narrow it down to 3 major components of frequently asked questions. Before I give you any of this information, I have to let you know that if you have a medical condition of any sort, please do consult your doctor. Today's findings is what I am bringing to you from the extensive research that I have done on this topic, from my experience as a Muslim who is working in the health and fitness profession, and with the experience of over 5 years of coaching people as well as training myself. So let's move on to those questions. Question number 1. What is the best time to work out in the month of Ramadan? Now, as much as it would be super easy if we could have just one answer, the reality is it depends on what your fitness goals are and what your Ramadan goals are. But what I will do is offer you some options and let's discuss what are the pros and cons of each option. So the first option is to work out 1 hour before Sahar. Alright, now this is superb if you are looking to lose fat, because you'll be working out on an empty stomach and you will be avoiding the dangerous outcomes of training dehydrated, right? Because you can drink water from the time you wake up and you can drink water throughout your workout. We know that dehydration can range from simple things like muscle cramps, lack of energy, lightheadedness, all the way to severe cases where you can have heat strokes, seizures, even death. So you do not want to be training dehydrated, right? If you pick this option, make sure that you work out and have enough time for you to have sahar, or your post-workout meal in this scenario, because that meal is not only going to be your sahar and your post-workout, but that's what's going to help you recover from the workout, help you replenish the lost glycogen and glucose levels in your body and keep you fueled for the rest of the day. Now, your second option is to work out right after iftar and praying Maghrib, right? Now, personally, this is my favorite. This is the option I would highly recommend for anyone, because you can have your pre-workout meal and your post-workout meal without any problem. You can hydrate before, during, as well as after the workout. So it's pretty much like working out on any other day. All right, and additionally, this is going to leave you enough time for you to devote your entire night to acts of worship, and your workout is not going to get in the way. But if you are doing this, guys, do remember to keep your iftar light, because otherwise you're going to feel uncomfortable, the food's going to come up and you're most probably not going to be able to finish your workout, or you might just get lethargic in the first place. And one more thing, guys, when you actually work out before you have your big meal, one thing that I've noticed is that this kills my cravings. So I'm less likely to dig in to that spread of samosas or biryani or faluda, whatever it is that's on your iftar table. Now, the third option I'm proposing is to have your iftar, pray Maghrib, and work out a few hours later into the night. All right. Now, again, in terms of how you set yourself up logistically, it's pretty much the same as the previous option. The only difference is you can have a bit of a bigger iftar as opposed to the previous option. Now, personally, I don't like this option because I tend to get a bit more lethargic once I have a bigger meal when I break fast. So if that's not an issue for you, if it won't eat into your Ramadan goals, if it won't get in the way of your night prayer and acts of worship and devotion, hey, who am I to tell you not to, right? If you think you can navigate it, you go. Now, the second frequently asked question was, what should I eat in the month of Ramadan? Now, if we are approaching this generally, well, it's pretty much the same thing that we should be eating all year around, right? What's good for our bodies? Minimally processed, wholesome food, all right? Plenty of greens, good quality carbohydrates, healthy fats, and so on. But if you are referring to how you should be feeding your body before and after your workouts, then let's talk about that. All right, now this depends on which option you pick. Remember, we discussed 3 options, so it's gonna depend on which option you pick. So the first one, the one I love the most, the one I advocate, which is working out right after iftar and maghrib. Right, so here you're gonna keep it light like we discussed before. You're gonna have 3 dates, a glass of water, and maybe a little bit of fruit. Now see, the thing is, guys, we need to hydrate, so we're having the glass of water. Dates are the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So not only is it a good idea, it is a great idea in terms of working out as well, because dates are known to have magnesium, potassium, protein, vitamin B6, and the list just goes on. It gives you that little rush that you need to kickstart your workout and power through your workout, right? Now, a piece of fruit is gonna give you the little bit of carbs, which is gonna be the fuel for you to actually sustain your workout. Now, there's an issue that we need to address here. We all love porridge, commonly known as kanji. Right now, if you are one of those people and you need to have your kanji, I would advise maybe just have a little bit of kanji, right? Don't load up so much that you're going to feel uncomfortable and actually get lethargic and skip your workout, right? So that is how you need to be nourishing your body before you work out. And right after, if you are somebody who has a protein shake, you can go with your protein shake. If not, you can get in a proper meal. Since we already haven't had a heavy iftar, you can have whatever it is that you were planning to do, maybe your porridge, but just make sure that you add in plenty of greens, plenty of wholesome food like we discussed. Now, if you are picking the 1 hour before sahar option, there is no pre-workout meal there, so there's no problem there, but just make sure that you hydrate throughout the workout, right? Because that's all the water you're gonna get for the day until you break fast. So make sure you hydrate really well through your workout and finish up in time for you to have your post-workout meal. That's critical, guys, right? Not only is this the meal that is gonna help you recover from your workout, this is your sahar, so it's gonna be the only meal you have before you start fasting. It's what you need to keep you sustained throughout the day and engaging in acts of worship, as well as actually recovering from your workout. And now the last option we discussed, which was, breaking fast, praying maghrib, waiting a few hours, and then working out. Now for this option, I don't think you need to have another meal before working out, because you've already had iftar and it's going to be a little bit of a bigger meal than the first option that we discussed. So all you need to worry about is once you're done working out, for you to have that post-workout meal, which is pretty much a repetition again. Have something that is healthy, nourishing, that's going to help you recover and power through your next workout as well. Now, an important thing that I need to mention is hydration. We spoke about how deadly it is, and we know that we need to stay hydrated at all times. So from the time you guys break fast, whether you're working out or not, you need to sip on as much water as you possibly can. I personally even sip while I am praying Taraweeh. I keep a bottle on the side, and between every 2 rakas, I try to have like at least a sip of water. All right, so remember, guys, nutrition is a massive role, not just in terms of you guys replenishing your bodies and helping you recover and come back for the next workout, but even for you to engage in acts of worship, which at the end of the day is the main focus of this month. Moving on to the third and final frequently asked question: what kind of workout should I be doing in Ramadan? All right, and you probably guessed the answer. It depends, right? It depends on who you are in terms of your fitness, how much of time you have, what resources you have. The times that we're going through, we're not going to be able to go to a gym, so we gotta like make the most of whatever we have at home. And do you have access to a coach, someone who can guide you, someone who knows the proper principles? Because at the end of the day, guys, what we need to remember is Ramadan or not Ramadan, lockdown or no lockdown, the principles of training based on the goal you're trying to achieve cannot change. The methods can, but the principles can't. All right, so how you lose fat outside of Ramadan is how you lose fat in Ramadan. All right, but I'll try to be a little bit more helpful and give you some just a little bit more information that might help you, decide how exactly you're going to navigate through your workout. Now, if your goal is to maintain or develop your strength in the month of Ramadan, we all know that lifting heavy is a non-negotiable. But it's obvious that in the month of Ramadan, because of the restriction of food and water, you can feel a little bit weaker. And it's important that we don't overtrain or we don't damage our bodies, right? So what we can do is reduce the volume of our workouts. And now what that might mean practically is, say for example, you are somebody who bench presses 50 kilograms for 4 sets. What you can do is keep lifting the 50 kilograms, but maybe cut it down to 3 or 2 sets, depending on how much of energy you have in your body. Now, if you're looking to maintain muscle mass or develop your muscle mass, reaching failure on the last trip of all of your exercises is a non-negotiable. But one thing I want you guys to note is you should not, under any circumstance, be training on an empty stomach. See guys, things like glycogen, protein and amino acids don't store well in our bodies. They need to be constantly replenished. Now when we are in a fasted state, any reserves in our body would have already been used up. And when you work out, if you don't have a glycogen and you don't have amino acids and protein in your body, what our body does is it breaks down muscle tissue for the body to get what it needs. Right? So what happens at the end of the day is you actually lose muscle mass, right? So make sure that you are definitely not training on an empty stomach if maintaining muscle mass is your goal. Now guys, I know that fat loss is gonna be a big goal for a lot of you in the month of Ramadan, and rightfully so guys, because Ramadan gives you the opportunity to actually cut your caloric input into your body. And we know that the principle for fat loss is ending your day on a caloric deficit, and like we discussed, that doesn't change whether you are in Ramadan or not. Now what we can do to optimize this is we're already cutting down the number of meals that we're having, right? So the caloric input is going to be restricted, but what we can do to maximize this is to increase our caloric output or the calorie burn that we have throughout the day. And we know this happens in two ways. It happens through purposeful movement as well as generally staying active throughout your day. So apart from your workout, which could be, a high intensity interval training circuit, it could be a couple of body weight moves, it could be micro workouts throughout your day, and it could even be a walk, and it really depends on what your fitness level is, right? So that's putting in purposeful exercise. But apart from that guys, we need to stay active throughout the day. Sleeping throughout the entire day and just waking up for our workout is not going to help us get the maximum benefit out of this month in terms of acts of worship or even in terms of maximizing fat loss. And a very important thing that I want you guys to note down is that no matter what you do, right, no matter what you do, if once you break fast, you're gonna indulge in a whole load of samosas and biryani and faluda and so much of other unhealthy fats and foods, you're most probably gonna come out of the month of Ramadan with more fat than you went into it. All right, so that's something you have to take seriously, guys, right? And that is pretty much what you need to be looking at if you are looking for the information that you need on as to how you should eat before and after your workouts, what you should be eating, what kind of workouts you should be doing in the month of Ramadan. So to cap it all up guys, we should definitely be working out in the month of Ramadan. An added point to note is that our bodies, our health is an amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and taking care of it is our duty. That's how we show our gratitude for what we have, right? And like I discussed, if we do this properly, if we plan it out, if we're serious about it, it's not going to hinder our fast or our acts of worship. It's actually going to elevate our fasting and our acts of worship. So I'm going to end this video on that note. If you guys have any more questions, please leave it in the comments. And don't consume this information on your own. Do spread it to your brothers and sisters. Send this to everyone that you think could benefit from this. So I hope that we all have a blessed Ramadan. I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts all of our good intentions and all of our acts of worship, and inshallah grant us ease from what the world is going through right now. So I hope you guys have an amazing Ramadan, the best one you've ever had. That is it from me guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.